Hello, I'm Rex Childhouse, and because things on the internet seem to lose their date references pretty easily, today is Saturday, June 24th, 2023. 1 week ago today was our 51st wedding anniversary. To celebrate that event, we planned our first long vacation since 1985. And we drove from San Diego County up the I-5 all the way to the Canadian border into British Columbia. And we visited numerous things in British Columbia while we were waiting to get on the Disney Wonder for a cruise to Alaska. And we stopped at numerous places on the way back home. One of the things we did was we visited on Sunday, May 21st, 2023, we visited the Greater Vancouver Zoo. Now, my wife was a San Diego Zoological Society employee for 18, 19 years. She's a bit sensitive about zoos. I happen to like zoos. Didn't quite know what we were going to see. We found no reviews on it. It wasn't even listed as places to see when you went over to the things to do in Vancouver, British Columbia. Kind of disappointing. Really nice zoo, really well laid out. The pens are very large, a lot of activity. The day was thin overcast, kind of cool, not cold, not warm, just at the perfect temperature, so a lot of the animals were active. And we had a lot of photos. So we're going to take you on a photo run of the Greater Vancouver Zoo. It was a great visit. This is the entrance to the zoo. There is a large paid parking lot, and you have to either pay when you get your tickets at the 3 or 4 windows that they have, or you can pay at the kiosks by registering your license number and whatever else. Anyways, the process to check into the zoo, to get checked in, took just a little bit because, as you can see in the photo, there are a fair amount of people, and most of us were standing in line. This is the layout of the zoo. It is rather well laid out. The pens are large. There are no printed maps available. We tried to download from the QR code thing a map of the zoo, and for some reason my wife's phone didn't quite take it. One of the things we're going to show you is they have these types of animals all over the zoo, some which are set back off the trails and signs asking you not to leave the trail or the path, and some that are specifically set up for children to come up to. And we found this guy a couple of different times. This was a peacock that was walking around open and free. Nobody was bothering him. A lot of people were taking his photo, and he was pretty proud of his plumage, and he had a right to be. As I said, there's a lot of static displays around the park. I put Joyce in front of one, obviously, and then she put me in front of one. We were both wearing sweatshirts that day. We didn't get hot, we didn't get cold, and I think we actually opened them, unzipped them later on in the day, but we didn't remove them. Another one of the, hey kids, let's have some fun. This guy was a horse, and I just managed to snap it between kids getting on and off it, and they were having fun, and that's what they have the right to do. So this is a playground to keep kids active. It's kind of interesting. As I understood it, it's based on one of the myths from the area. Not sure about that, but that's what one of the zoo people told me. As we go through the animals, I'm going to try and show you the signage that they have for them, and then show you the picture of the animal. My wife happens to like Red River hogs for some reason. The San Diego Zoo and San Diego Safari Park used to be Wild Animal Park. I think they both have them, I'm not sure. And here they are. These guys were kind of sitting around, just kind of taking it easy. It was a nice day. If you look, it's not real bright, it's not dim, and you'll see people in t-shirts because they're acclimated. We weren't acclimated. So, and here's one of the Red River hogs. He got up and was doing some stuff. Vietnamese pot-bellied pigs, and they were active. They were running around in their enclosures. The enclosures were large and were appropriately structured and planted. I guess my number one annoyance, just because I'm spoiled, I'm used to the San Diego Zoo and Safari Park having moats or higher walls, and a lot of their pens were defined by fences, and my autofocus was picking it up. They do have a train. I put Joyce on the train track. I'm not sure what gauge this is. I put Joyce on the train track, and we would later ride the train. Capybaras, another one of Joyce's animals. We saw these guys here, and they were pretty active. She thought the water needed to be cleaned. Evidently, they cleaned the water. They like the water. I like flamingos. I don't know. I don't like them in my yard. I don't like the ones on the plastic ones you buy and put in your yard. I don't like those, but I do like flamingos. I think flamingos are a pretty bird, and they're usually fairly active when you find them in a zoo, and these guys were. And it was a really nice area to see. One of the things we found around the zoo that I don't think I found at other zoos were these signs, native species around the zoo. I photographed several of them, and they talk about numerous things. They were trying to educate the visitor on what was in their area, and I thought that was really cool. American white pelican. If you look at the chart, this is a south of the United States, northern Mexico bird. Cougar was kind of fun. We didn't get a good shot of him. There were people in the way when he was walking around. We found this display, American elk and American bison. We call them buffalo, but they're bison, and they were active. They were walking around. I have probably 3 to 4 minutes total of these guys walking around. I'm not going to show it all to you. Come up on the caribou, and there's some interesting signage around the caribou about these particular animals, and at the moment they were sitting down just kind of enjoying the weather. We move over to the grizzly bears. I happen to like grizzly bears. I don't want to give one a hug. I don't want one to give me a hug, but I do happen to like grizzly bears. And they have, in the signage, they explain how they got a fair amount of their animals, and a lot of them are adoptees. So they were injured, they were orphaned, unable to take care of themselves, and they're brought into the park for a better life.
Hi, sweetie. The water hole? You don't like it?
As I said, it was a really nice day. It wasn't hot, wasn't cold, it wasn't bright, wasn't dim. Wasn't raining, wasn't blowing, and the American black bears were outside just absolutely having fun, and I'm going to let you watch them. I've never seen a bear be given a tree in his enclosure in a zoo before, and one of them climbed the tree.
Look, Lovey, look over there. The two breakfasts they play together and muzzle. You can go right over there.
You gonna chase him?
He's climbing the tree. Another good climber. Better than you think.
Or are you gonna knock it down?
I bet there's a...
Usually leave.
Is that kind of like a
Bert? Careful, you get snares in your tissue that way. Land on his head, go for it. That's pretty cool. Well, look at you. Hi. Look at that lovely face. Look at those claws. Wow. Hi. Oh my God. Look at those claws. Thank you.
I think he's looking for breakfast.
Oh my goodness, I didn't do anything.
They have a couple of very nice bald eagles, and on this trip into northern California, Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, Alaska, we saw numerous bald eagles out in the wild. The signage explains that these were injured and were unable to care for themselves in the wild, so they were brought into the zoo, which is beautiful, and they looked really well. We found something we did not expect, and we went back to the age of dinosaurs. And it was really cool. It was not an additional fee. It did not look like a temporary display or, you know, one of the mobile ones that they bring into the San Diego Zoological Society, where they're here for 3, 6, 10 weeks, and you pay extra to see them. These guys look like a permanent display. I'm going to leaf through them as we go because I can't pronounce most of the dinosaurs' names, but they did have some really, really good signage. So if I go silent, I'm just clicking through the photos. This was a really nice display, and a lot of them were animated. Only because of the movie. I think this is a Brachiosaurus, and that was Jurassic Park. It's a veggie eater. It's a vegetarian. And it was to scale. Joyce is standing in front of it. It's a huge dinosaur. I did think they were trying to do a lot of teaching, a lot of educating along the way. They were talking about how when they find dinosaur eggs, or even the remnants of dinosaur eggs, they can start working on filling in some of the blanks of the era, because obviously no humans were alive. Dinosaurs never fought humans. That's just the way it goes. All sorts of interesting things about dinosaurs and how the research they do on trying to figure out all the little answers about them. Life was savage while the dinosaurs and those ancestors lived, and the zoo was trying to present that. Here's dinner on the hoof, or dinner on the claw, or dinner on the foot, whatever you want to call it. Making some reasonable assumptions about stegosauruses, how they lived, how they bred, how they took care of their young. Kind of interesting. Okay, who cannot pronounce Tyrannosaurus Rex? Now, being Rex, I've been T-Rex, I've been Dinosaur Daddy, I've been Dinosaur Grandpa, been teased about this my entire life, and I have never ever minded it. This guy is animated, and I just love this display. Time to leave the dinosaurs and enter the present age again, and the gray wolves were out and active. As I said, it was a great day, not hot, not cold, not bright, not dim, not raining, not windy, and they were just having fun.
Chase the stick. Just like your dog.
Look over there. Look at all the dogs.
Okay, see the different colors too. Yeah, lighter color.
Oh, that's right.
Never seen so many in one area.
Are you a little wolf pup?
There were several places through the zoo that the keepers were interacting with the animals, and they were feeding them with tongs, and this is the red foxes, and the kids, and we were just having fun watching these guys play.
Yeah, I know where it's coming from.
No, I don't think it's
Oh, and there.
Yeah.
wolves have
No,
caught
he
the
just got in
hill and
trouble.
sniffing like, when is it our turn?
Cute, aren't they? That's a cute little face.
Well, I would have loved to have videos of all the animals in motion. Some of them were just laying down, just resting, whatever. So rather than video time, they were just images. As I said earlier, salmon, once you get into Oregon, Washington State, British Columbia, Alaska, are a big issue, and there are signs about salmon. Don't harm them, don't litter in the don't trash the water out, whatever, all over the place. And this was at the zoo, and it stresses how important it is to the economy, to nature, whatever else up there. And it's nice to see.
Your relatives used to try to peck at my truck all the time. Yes? Hello. Hello.
We were in the zoo, I think, for 4 to 4.5 hours, a long time. We got hungry, we got thirsty, went over to the refreshment stand and picked up this can of Coca-Cola. Noticed that it doesn't have the Coca-Cola wave on it, and picked up a package of Lay's potato chips, classic potato chips, and Canada is bilingual because of Quebec. Kind of okay, kind of interesting. I love trains, and well, I love anything mechanical, and the zoo's got a nice small train, and we paid the additional fee. I think the ride is 15 to 20 minutes long, takes around the park really well, narrated, and I'm going to let you watch it.
Look out! Look out!
Reading something like this before, right?
As we're departing the station here on our right-hand side, you're going to see our giraffe viewing platform. There you guys are able to view our 3 male giraffes. Their names are Jenga, Jagger, and Milo. Giraffes are known as the tallest land mammal, reaching up to 6 meters in height. And just next to them in this green grassy patch, that is for our African spur tortoises, or sulcata tortoises. We do have 2 of them. Their names are Boris and Optimus. And both those guys are actually examples of surrendered pets here at GV Zoo. Then next on the right, we're going to have our African lion enclosure. Closest to us should be Castle and Prim. It looks like their keeper's just getting ready for a talk here pretty soon. So Castle is the one that's closest to us. He's the larger one, with Prim just behind him. And will be Titus. As we come into our tunnel, just a reminder to remain seated and maybe give me a little wolf howl once we get in there if you see anything spooky in our shadows. And coming out of the tunnel here, as I said, on the right, those are our flamingos. And then that road we just crossed, it'll lead up left to our North American trail with our pelicans, plains, bison, American elk.
If you've ever paid attention to railroad tracks as they cross bridges or trestles, they get this inner set of rails, and sometimes as shown in this picture, they get these planks. The planks are so that the rail people can walk conveniently without risking injury by stepping between the ties. Those 2 rails on the inside are to reduce the probability of the train derailing as it crosses the bridge. So it's a safety feature.
Just gonna have to put a blue up here.
The paths throughout the zoo were extremely wide. Here's a photo of them next to the railroad track. And there are these Surrey cars or carts. 2 adults sit in the middle, 2 children can sit on the front, and you can pedal them around the park. You can actually, the paths are wide enough and the carts are narrow enough that 2 of them can pass on these, and they give the carts these little bells to let people know. But they give you, when you go to check out one of these carts, they give you a courtesy training session that lasts about 5 minutes. I kind of watched part of it, and the pedestrians have the right of way, so you can let them know with your bell that you're coming, but you have to wait till they get out of the way. I wish I'd taken a photo of the carts, the Surrey cars or carts. I missed that.
They look so fluffy. Here at the zoo, we can...
不可能。你要那哪儿想联系完了 be careful。玩这个不是。因为他什么时候拍完，我才看过去，过去玩。但是他的 video， 哎，讲英文的他就知道了。我们呢，我们就在。Go sideways. Thank you. Show them the move.
I'm gonna call him Shrek. He's like an alligator. He's gonna just jump up.
Oh, this is winning!
They can go wherever they want. Whenever they want. I want the
We spent about 4.5 hours at the Greater Vancouver Zoo. I took more than 250 pictures. Some of them got trashed out. You've seen some of them. Took a fair amount of videos because it was an absolutely beautiful day. Overall, it was a fantastic stop. Highly recommended if you're in the Vancouver, British Columbia area. Well worth the time, well worth the money.